Hi, my name is Ivan Usach, and this is a oral history video project of the Pocumtuck Valley Memorial Association. In this video, I'm representing an Eastern European immigrant who certainly had an accent when they arrived in this country and probably for their whole lives. And I want to acknowledge that the accent you are hearing is almost certainly not a technically accurate one, but hopefully gives some flavor of the Eastern European tongue. Hello, my name is William Kostecki, and I was born in the old country around 1880. The borders have changed since I was a boy. And by the time I was a young man, it was clear that there were a few ways to earn a good living. So, I left the old country in 1906, following 3 brothers to America. I worked as a cook on board to pay for my passage on the ship. When I arrived in America, like my brothers, I went through Ellis Island in New York City. 2 of my brothers stayed in New York City, but me and my brother Theodore went to Deerfield because we had heard from our church that there were jobs to be had in western Massachusetts. So I came to Montague, where I lived and worked on the ball farm. I also worked at the railroad freight yard and as a hostler. Do you know what that is? I looked after the horses of people staying at an inn. For the railroad, I cleaned out the fuel boxes in the locomotives, which was grueling work. But I saved enough money to buy my own farmland, a small farm on River Road in East Deerfield. My brother Theodore also worked hard. He bought a big farm nearby in the Pine Nook area. As it turned out, my farm, which was bottomland, was the more productive. Theo's was topland with many rocks. Theo said we should trade farms, since he was older and older sons have more rights. Well, I told him where he could go. So you can imagine how this caused a family feud. Theo and I became estranged. Very sad to say. Theo was so upset, he changed the spelling of his last name from Kostecki with an I to Kostecki with a Y to distance himself from me entirely. Well, life goes on, you know. I married a young girl in the neighborhood. She was also an immigrant. We had 4 children, 3 boys and a girl. The local people, we called them Yankees, were not very fond of us foreigners, so we immigrants stuck together. We even formed our own social clubs and churches. This pin I'm wearing came from my club. It is from the Polish National Alliance, or PNA. But that's ZNP in the Polish. My wife died young of cancer. May she rest in peace. Well, later I married again, a Polish widow with her own kids. And we had 2 daughters together. My second wife was a great cook, and she made everything from scratch, like kishka, kielbasa, blood sausage, hearty dishes made from the animals and vegetables we raised on the farm. She didn't have a lot of time for baking. There were always so many chores, you know. But she made plenty of pies. And there was always soup simmering on the stove. As hard as we worked, we didn't work all the time. On many Sunday afternoons and holidays, folks from all over the neighborhood would gather at someone's home for music, games, drinking, and general camaraderie. I remember my Applejack was popular. And music was a big deal, just like it is today. We formed a band with other immigrants, and I played the accordion. We played at church fairs and picnics and other places, weddings, baptisms, parties. They were good times. I remember this one time we were playing at a dance, and my son, Julius, he was always mischievous, and some other young boys, they let all the air out of our car tires. It was not funny at the time, but I suppose. Well, I never returned to the old country. Who knows, I may still have family there, cousins and such. Looking back, it was a good life overall. 2 happy marriages, 6 children of my own, plus 4 stepchildren. Always enough to eat, thank the good Lord. And friends to share the good times with. Na zdrowie! That means to your health.